Can you drive me to Jessica's house?
At Northwestern Mutual, this is what our version of financial planning looks like. Tomorrow's important, but so's making the most of the house before they're out of the house. Spend your life living. Find an advisor at northwesternmutual.com.
It's We Back Pat Week as we honor Pat Summitt and her continued impact on women's basketball, both on and off the court. Alabama set to take on Georgia here at Stegeman Coliseum. We welcome you to Athens alongside Christy Thomascutti. I am Eric Freed. Well, I'm sitting next to someone who grew up in the South, played college basketball at Tulane, went on to become a very successful college basketball coach. So what impact did Pat Summitt have on you, Christy?
What matter of impact did she not have throughout my playing, coaching career? And even now, to this day, there's not a student athlete, a female student athlete across this league, across this country that can't thank Pat Summitt enough. Her impact transcends time, and the number one thing was always her student athletes, but just as importantly to her was the growth of this game.
And she was a great motivator, and these are two teams that could use a little motivation right now. Let's start with Georgia. They've lost 2 in a row. They're coming off a bye week, and Gabby Connolly is someone they're leaning on in this game to try to lead them into the second half of SEC play.
Gabby Connolly has been UGA's most consistent and clutch player to this point in the season. A team-high 18 points versus Texas A&M, knocking down 4 of 8 from 3. The big key today is she slides into that point guard spot. How will it affect her ability to score, as she's also tasked with setting up the offense?
For Alabama, Jasmine Walker has been very good in conference play.
Another consistent player for Alabama. She is their leading scorer and rebounder in SEC play. Coming off a game-high 18 points at Arkansas. What I was impressed with, she started off 0 for 3 from the three-point line and then proceeded to knock down 4 of her next 6 threes. Alabama's going to need a big scoring game for her if they're to get this upset win on the road.
Big questions for these two teams. What is the story at the point guard position? Sierra Johnson suffered a concussion against Arkansas. We believe she'll be available today. She is not starting. Taja Cole will not play today. Point guard for Georgia, serving a 1-game suspension for a violation of team rules. So some mixing, some matching for these two head coaches, and we are underway here in Athens. Beverly Roberts, Eric Bruton, and Meadow Overstreet, our officiating crew in Alabama with the first possession, and a lot of pressure on this young lady, the freshman Hannah Barber, who gets the start at the point, her 6th start for Bama.
Well, I think it's going to come down to the rest of the team for Alabama to take some pressure off of Barber.
And an early turnover for Alabama, and Georgia will take over. Starting 5 for Georgia includes Donetta Johnson, Gabby Connolly, Stephanie Paul, Kalia Robinson, and Q Morrison gets the start with Taja Cole sitting it out. Start number 3 for Q. Had a great freshman year, but has battled injury, had surgery earlier this year, missed 8 games. She's been up and down. We'll see how number 23 performs today for the Bulldogs.
If you're a GA fan, you're used to seeing Q Morrison start these games, and Joni Taylor said she thinks she's going to have a big game today.
Paul on the glass fighting for it, then Kalia Robinson reaches in a tie-up, and that's one big point of emphasis for Joni Taylor. They were pummeled on the boards against Texas A&M last time out, a -16 in rebounding margin, and she wanted more effort on the glass, and we saw it that trip.
Well, not just the -16, Eric, it's what those -16 offensive rebounds converted to. And that was 21 second chance points for A&M. Good sign for UGA. They just flipped the script and got 2 of their own.
Donetta Johnson, the freshman from Queens, averaging 3 points a game, was 0 for 4 from the field against A&M last time out. Alabama's starting 5, with Barber getting the start at the point, as I mentioned. Barber defended by Connolly. Barber tried to force it in there, ended up in the hands of Copeland, and it's a shot clock violation and a stop for Georgia. Christy Curry, her team coming off a loss at Arkansas, 72-61 on Thursday. Never had a lead in that game, so here they are back on the road at Athens. And since that win over Tennessee, back-to-back losses for Bama.
Again, it's just consistency for this Alabama ball club. One player will play well, and then the next night it's kind of a no-show. I do think a key for Alabama today is can they take care of the ball and can they take good shots so they can not only score but also get back in transition defense.
Breakdown on defense there for Alabama is Johnson. An easy path to the basket.
Well, it's a great start for UGA because with Taja Cole out of the game, who else is going to be able to score for them in the half court? So the freshman, Danetta Johnson, stepping up here early in this game.
Copeland takes it outside. One and done, and a rebound for Q Morrison. And Kaliyah Robinson will catch a lot of passes, but not that one.
I think Q might have been a little too amped up on that one.
Well, Morrison's coming off a season-high 28 minutes. It has been a battle for her this year. She missed the first 8 games after meniscus surgery, left knee injury, made her debut in December. Joni Taylor was telling us today she had never been injured in her career, not even a sprained ankle. So dealing with that has been a challenge for the sophomore from Riverdale, Georgia. 3rd turnover for Alabama.
Well, it's one thing for a doctor to release you. It's another thing for an athlete to feel confident in their knee or whatever they're coming back from an injury from. And you just see a little bit more with each game with Q, that she's getting more comfortable on the court. She's getting more aggressive, and that's what UGA really needs from her. Speaking
of aggressive, that's Paul driving the lane, but has it knocked away, and Shaq Wade picks it up.
Alabama needs to get stopped so they can try to get the ball advanced up the court before UGA can set up their half-court defense.
Well, we know Georgia under Joni Taylor has been an outstanding team defensively. And another foul called, this time on Shaq Wade. Our Thursday night showcase this week, top 5 women's matchup. Number 3 UConn on the road in Louisville to take on the 4th-ranked Cardinals, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Shaq Wade picks up her first personal foul. She battled foul trouble last time out against Arkansas. Played just 16 minutes, had 3 first-half fouls, did not score. Traveling violation, turnover, Georgia. As Barber goes to the bench and Sierra Johnson, that answers the question. She's in pretty early.
Well, Christy Curry knows how important this game is for them. As we saw Q Morrison go up the floor and turn it over, unfortunately. But you need your point guard. You need your quarterback on the court, especially when you're on the road. And you saw these first couple of possessions by Alabama just disjointed and just looked not on the same page. I don't blame her at all for inserting Sierra Johnson.
Deja Benjamin into the game as well. You see how they are trying to deny Jasmine Walker the basketball with Stephanie Paul there defensively.
I just really want to see Alabama get the ball inside. And their wins at this point in the season, either Ashley Knight or Copeland have had big games down low, and it just seems like the guards forget about her sometimes.
Shaq Wade, the feed inside to Copeland.
And that's what I'd like to see Alabama just do more of. Copeland's got good hands down low, lead her to the basket and give her a chance to score.
Morrison wants to work with a Paul screen. Rebound for Sierra Johnson. Johnson had 14 points and 6 assists in that game, and showing no signs of being shy, attacks the basket, has it sent back. No reset of the shot clock as Alabama resets. And a foul on Georgia. Whistled on Johnson.
And we're seeing already the screen on the ball defense by UGA. They want to go over those screens, and unfortunately, they just make a little bit too much contact that last time.
Alabama determined to attack the inside, but that's a traveling violation. Copeland whistled for Alabama's 5th turnover already in the opening minutes.
The only positive I can say about that turnover for Alabama is that it allows them to make, it was a dead ball turnover, allows them to get back and get set on defense, because I know a big concern for Christy Curry was UGA's ability to get out in transition and get the easy points.
Jenna Stady into the game for Georgia, and back the other way we go.
You're just seeing right now, from a UGA perspective, they just keep shuffling their feet. It's almost like they're not prepared to make the move. They're not sure what they're going to do when they catch it, and they just get caught off balance and they're shuffling.
Mismatch on the inside as Walker, watched by Connolly, take to the basket by Johnson, and here comes Georgia.
Well, Alabama's, anytime Walker sets an on-ball screen, UGA is switching that on-ball. So Alabama's going to have some mismatches, but Sierra Johnson's got to be able to finish when she gets to the rim.
Stady, the cut to the basket. Stephanie Paul.
Credit the passer, but more before that, credit the screen on the weak side that opens Paul up to get to the basket.
It's really been a struggle for the junior out of Naples the last 2 games, averaging just 2 points a game, 2 rebounds. That's her first points here today. Johnson takes it back the other way. Connolly steps into a 3. Tap back out. Q Morrison takes it in. Again, getting on the glass. Stephanie Paul kept it alive.
Well, with the length of UGA, Alabama's going to have to put a body on the UGA players when the ball goes up. That time, the players in Crimson just turned, and UGA used their length to get that offensive rebound.
First points for Morrison. Copeland inside Walker. Jasmine Walker at 18 points, 12 rebounds. She knocked down 4 3-pointers, so you know she can take it inside and also outside. That's her first points here this afternoon. Morrison went down, but somehow got it to Connolly, who feeds it inside to Stady, who touched it last. It'll be Alabama ball when we come back to Athens. 3:51 to go in the first.
We knew Q Morrison needed to be a presence today. She sets the weak side screen for Stephanie Paul to give them the 4-point lead.
Anna, do you have those plans?
Yes. I just wanted to show you something I've been James R. & Associates, Anna speaking. James R. & Associates, Anna. Baker Architects, this is Anna Baker.
At Northwestern Mutual, this is what our version of financial planning looks like. Tomorrow is important, but you're ready to bet on yourself today. Find an advisor at northwesternmutual.com.
It won't help you drive or pivot. It won't improve your shot because it's not a shoe. It's life insurance. With John Hancock Vitality, the healthy things you do earn you discounts and rewards.
She was a mother, she was a coach, she was a leader, she was innovative, was able to get the most out of her players. But I think what they remember the most is not the moments on the floor, but the moments that she was there for them off the floor and the everlasting bond that they continued to have once they were done with their playing career, and that's what I aspire to do.
Of course, Joni Taylor, player at Alabama, now a coach in the SEC here at Georgia. We back Pat in Athens. Georgia on top 8-4, and Pat's mom, Hazelhead, passed away Wednesday morning, age of 93. Ms. Hazel, to most.
I still remember that moment. After Pat wins the national championship, she goes down to greet her mother. I also remember the SEC championship where Pat takes the net and puts it around Hazel's neck. Just a great mother, and not just to Pat, but I think to all her players as well.
No doubt. Good job by Johnson coming back to take it away. And then Gabby Connolly, great defensive play, got the tie-up. Possession arrow will keep it with Alabama.
I love the way Sierra Johnson's being aggressive, but I love the way Gabby Connolly stands in there and doesn't try to go for a block, but just grabs the ball. I thought it was a great call by the official. And that's one thing in talking about Christy Curry. She's questioning right now Sierra Johnson. Like, we know Sierra Johnson can score, but because she's been thrust in this point guard role, she needs to do a better job of getting the team involved and setting them up. And it's not just turnovers, but it's also her shot selection. Can she create good shots for her team?
Christy Ashley Knight into the game for Alabama as Georgia brings it up.
And we're seeing Alabama in that 2-3 matchup zone in the half court, trying to make UGA beat them from the outside.
Shaq Wade got a hand on it. Turnover for Georgia. Walker defended by Robinson. Georgia's a man-to-man team, holding opponents to 35% from the field. That's tops in the SEC. Good job by Alabama, though, to find Ashley Knight.
Great job by Benjamin to get aggressive and attack off the bounce. She draws the defense. The weak side doesn't rotate. Walker's wide open on the block. Now, Eric, one thing I see sometimes when teams go into zone is it just stagnates a half-court offense. We're seeing how methodical UGA is and how deliberate they are moving the ball from side to side. That feeds into a half-court defense like Alabama's.
Offensive foul called on Georgia. Johnson. Well, after a very sluggish start, things have turned around a little bit for Alabama. They have a chance to tie it this trip down the floor.
Eric, you hit it on the head. 6 turnovers resulting in UGA 6 points off those turnovers. It's hard to score when you don't have the ball, and now that Alabama's getting in the half-court offense and executing, we're seeing better shots. We're seeing high percentage shots.
How about this matchup here? Johnson on Walker. Walker over Stady. Wade came in to get a hand on it. Second chance here for Bama.
I'd like to see more of that on-ball screen action between those two players for Alabama, because Alabama can have Walker attack the basket with Stady on her.
Count it and the foul. Ashley Knight with the putback and a chance for a three-point play. Hey, she's been a spark off the bench, but I'll tell you the big spark has been Sierra Johnson. She has shown no signs of being sluggish after suffering the concussion. She has been in attack mode since the start.
Well, both coaches talked about getting to the free throw line being important. And right now, you got to credit Sierra Johnson for getting aggressive, attacking the glass off the bounce. Ashley Knight being in the right place to grab that O-board.
5 points quickly off the bench for Knight. Alabama has its first lead. Remember, they did not have a lead against Arkansas on Thursday.
What's important for Alabama, anytime they've had the lead going into halftime, they're 10-1. When they have not had the lead, they have not won a game yet this season.
Georgia settling for mid-range jump shot. Stady on the turnaround, can't hit. Alabama's got the momentum right now. 7-0 run for the Crimson Tide. Blocked by Stady, kept in bounds. Johnson again on the drive. Ripped down by Morrison. 2-on-2 the other way. Morrison showing some of that speed and athleticism that she displayed last year. All freshman team in the SEC. Trip to the free throw line coming up.
Well, it starts with the blocks. UGA is tied for first in the nation in total blocks as well as blocks per game. And that allows, when Sierra Johnson goes to the rim and doesn't score, UGA is going to push it in transition.
And you can see defensively some of the key numbers for Georgia. That was a costly foul for Alabama because Shaq Wade's in foul trouble for the second straight game. 2 personal fouls, so she'll go to the bench. Megan Abrams will come on for Crimson Tide.
Well, Shaq Wade's been one of those players who struggled with her consistency, but one thing that she's capable of doing from a defensive perspective is locking down the opponent because she's so long and is so quick. That's something to watch as this game progresses because that hurts Alabama from a defensive perspective.
Johnson, bounce pass out of the hands of Knight. Another turnover for Alabama. That's number 7. Georgia has also turned the ball over 7 times.
Well, I like Sierra Johnson getting to the rim, and I like that she was selfless enough to try to hit Ashley Knight. Unfortunately, Knight wasn't prepared for that pass.
Stady, Johnson, Kayla Hubbard. And a foul called on Alabama. A couple of free throws coming up. Well, a special NBA Sunday matchup later today between 2 of the top teams in the league. Giannis and the Bucks are in Oklahoma City to take on Russell Westbrook and the Thunder, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 3 Pacific on ESPN and live on the app. Kayla Hubbard, the freshman from Jonesboro, Georgia, gets her first point of the afternoon. Here's Caitlin Hose, native of Alabama, into the game. Q Morrison on the bench. And a lane violation. They blew the whistle before the free throw.
I thought Alabama stepped in early. I'm not sure what the holdup is there. I mean, the ball went in, so it should be Alabama's ball now out of bounds because the basket should count.
So they'll count the basket. A couple of free throws for Hubbard. 5 seconds between the shot clock and the game clock. Hannah Barber back in for Alabama, defended by Connolly.
And I think that's just to give Johnson a little bit more rest with a quarter break coming up.
$10 on the shot clock. Abrams. Johnson, Hugh Morrison. Another steal for Georgia. 4 seconds, 3. Into the corner. Gabby Connolly to beat the buzzer. And that will be the end of quarter number 1. Both teams struggling to take care of the basketball. 3-point lead for Georgia after 1.
Go! Enjoy yourselves. I'm pretty okay with children.
Just okay?
Relax, I'm not gonna forget anything. Bedtime's at 11.
8.
Yikes, you're strict. Allergy to shellfish.
Peanuts.
Oh, I should write this down. Hey, what's your Wi-Fi password?
It's the names of our kids.
Well, that's not helpful.
Just okay is not okay, especially when it comes to your network. AT&T is America's best wireless network according to America's biggest test. Now with 5GE. More for your thing. That's our thing.
I am the legendary DQ chicken strip basket. Now just $4.99. For this, and these, and those, and of course that. So much that. Because I'm not fast food. I am fan food.
Ready for the start of the second quarter here in Athens. 15 combined turnovers in that first quarter. 8 for Alabama and 7 for Georgia. As we take into Joni Taylor's huddle as Georgia losing 3 of the last 4 and 2 in a row. Christy Curry's team has lost 5 of 6. They had won 4 out of 5, so trying to find their way right now on the road. Welcome inside Stegman Coliseum here on the campus of the University of Georgia. Eric Freed, Christy Thomas-Scuddy. We welcome those of you who are watching Dayton and St. Joseph's go to overtime. Just the start of the second quarter here between Alabama and Georgia. Georgia in the home white jumped out to an early lead, but it's been a long scoring drought that ends with Kalia Robinson getting her first field goal.
We saw this in the first quarter, the exact same play, but with Paul coming off that diagonal back screen for the bucket, this time they set Kalia Robinson up.
Deja Benjamin ducks inside, and a foul called on Georgia, and a trip to the free throw line coming up. Both these teams have lost back-to-back games since knocking off Tennessee. For Alabama, they lost at Arkansas on Thursday, and in that game, Sierra Johnson suffered a concussion. There was some question as to whether or not she'd be able to play here today. She did not start, but she has come off the bench and tried to provide a spark for Alabama at the point. For Georgia, they are playing without their point guard today. Taja Cole, violation of team rules, sitting this game out. She's the team leader in minutes. She leads the conference in assists. So how does Georgia make up for the loss to the junior from Richmond?
Well, the good news is Gabby Conley has also been the point guard for this team. They've kind of played off one another, so it's not brand new for them. But to me, it's that defensive tenacity that Cole brings to the court that UGA is missing to this point. She forces so many turnovers by the opponent, which allows UGA to get out in transition and score.
And a turnover on Georgia and a foul called on the Bulldogs. So there you see Cole, who had 11 points and 9 assists last time out against Texas A&M. That was a loss a week ago. It's been a bye week here for Georgia. A chance for them to reset, get organized as Abrams on the run, rattles one in. Her first points of the game.
I loved how confident Abrams looked when she made the release on that shot. Turned the corner after that on ball, little lefty floater for her in the paint.
Feed into Robinson, and she throws it back in the middle to Benjamin. Benjamin takes it at Connolly, 4-2.
Smart play by Benjamin to attack the rim, knowing Connolly already has one foul. Connolly kind of stayed out of her way.
Hose takes an early three, and it's grabbed by Sierra Johnson. Johnson, instead of putting her head down to the basket, pulls up and scores. And Alabama's got some momentum building right now. First points for Johnson.
Well, how are they doing it? Now off of UGA's turnovers. That's allowed them to get out 2 straight times in transition and score.
7-0 run for Alabama. Another three on the way. This one's good, though, from Caitlin Hose, freshman from Hazel Green, Alabama. Playing 13 minutes a game, did not score against Texas A&M. We expect to see a little bit more of Hose with Taja Cole out of the lineup as Joni Taylor changes the rotation a little bit.
Well, Eric, not just from Alabama, a former player of the year in the state of Alabama, so I'm sure this game means a little bit more to her today as well.
Copeland on the follow-up with the putback to put Alabama back in front. Stephanie Paul draws a crowd, and another Georgia turnover. That's 10 already for Georgia. 3 on the way, rattled in.
Great start for Benjamin, picking up where she left off at Arkansas. Missed a couple of games due to her own concussion at the beginning of SEC play, and now seems to be hitting her stride. Christy Curry said, hey, she's just improved her practice habits, and it's paying off in game action now.
Gabby Conley, averaging 13 points a game, has not scored yet for Georgia. Now 0 for 2 from the field. Second chance here, though, for the Bulldogs. 7 minutes to go in the first half. Robinson can't hit. Walker with the rebound.
That could have potentially been a three-point opportunity for Walker, but Johnson just doesn't deliver it in the pocket, so it took her out of rhythm.
Copeland with the finish. She has 6 points, averaging 8 a game. She's coming off a strong game against Arkansas. Had 11 points, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks in 30 minutes of play. So, like Benjamin, coming in with a little bit of a run. Robinson, good move to get free for 2.
She has such great touch around the basket. The Achilles heel for her game this season has been she hasn't finished consistently near the rim. I love just that little soft turnaround there.
Timeout called by Alabama. We will take the timeout as well. We say goodbye to those of you watching on the SEC Alternate Network. Back with more here in Athens in a moment.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Papa John's. 2 medium, 1 topping pizzas, just $6 each. And State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800 State Farm.
This season marks nearly 85 years of SEC tradition. At Johnsonville, we respect heritage. We've been making premium sausage since 1945. We're heading back to SEC country to earn our fans. On every campus, at every tailgate, every big game, all the way to the championship. Get fired up for game day, made the Johnsonville way.
Welcome back to Athens. 51st meeting all time between Georgia and Alabama. Georgia's won the last 2, both games going to overtime, and we have a tight one here in the second quarter. Turnovers, 8 all in the first quarter for Alabama. Christy, Taja Cole not playing today, so a change at the point for Georgia, and Alabama scoring off the break, but no turnovers this quarter for Alabama. They are 6 of 7 from the field this quarter. That's helped them outscore Georgia 14-7 and take this 4-point lead.
Well, they're shooting so well because they're getting to the rim off of these UGA turnovers. The turnovers have led to easy transition opportunities.
Abrams tried to get it to the basket, and good defensive play by Q Morris in the standard ground, and it'll be Georgia ball.
That's the remarkable thing. It's not just the bigs for UGA who block shots. You'll see these perimeter players size up the dribble penetrators and just block it.
Maya Caldwell into the game for Georgia, number 11. I think she was surprised that she was open there for the moment. Got rid of it. And another turnover for Georgia.
And that's the 4th that Donetta Johnson herself has been called for this game.
11 for the team. Purple maternity dresses are available in Athens, by the way, as Joni, very stylish here today. What is she, 36 weeks or so now?
I give her credit. I mean, it's not just about, she's always dressed to a T, but the fact that she found the purple dress
for the
in honor of Pat Summitt.
Yep, Alzheimer's awareness. Approaching 5 minutes to go in the second quarter.
I mean, Eric, I think what we're seeing as well in the half court for UGA, players are playing in different spots than they have been when Taja Cole's been on the court with them, and that's just made them a little less fluid, and they're just questioning things. They're not prepared when they catch the ball to be in attack mode.
Allie Craig Cruz into the game for Alabama, number 12. Benjamin playing with a lot of confidence right now. 9 points for Benjamin.
I was just going to say, it's just so smooth, so deliberate. She's prepared when the ball hits her hands, and she's knocking them down in a big way for Alabama today.
Freshman from Augusta, Georgia. A bit of a homecoming here for her. As Christy mentioned, she battled concussion, missed 2 games, was 2 for 11 in her 4 games since the return before knocking down 4 shots against Arkansas. And you mentioned that was a game where the switch got flipped back on for her, it seemed. 13 points, 3 of 6 from three-point land.
Hey, I got to tell you, this is the coach in me. For any young player out there, it doesn't just come on at game time. You've got to practice that way, and this is what Christy Curry and her staff said. Benjamin now is starting to get it, what it's going to take to be successful at that level, at this level, and she's practicing at another level now, and you're seeing it pay off in game action.
Cruz tips it to Abrams. 7-point Alabama lead. Abrams got caught in deep and turned it over. Johnson. Back for Morrison. And now Connolly will settle things down inside of 4 to play here in the first half. It's been a struggle so far for Gabby Connolly. 0 for 3 from the field. All 3 attempts from outside the three-point line. She does have 3 turnovers. Johnson. Count it, and the foul It looked like she was dribbling into a black hole in all sorts of trouble, but somehow, some way, she got the basket and a chance for a three-point play.
I don't know how she parted the seas to even get this shot up, but she goes up strong, draws the contact, and gets the and one.
Q Morrison picks up her first personal foul. And Sierra Johnson averaging better than 14 points a game, 74% from the free throw line. Moved to the full-time point guard spot when Jordan Lewis was lost for the season with a broken wrist. Can't finish the three-point play, and here comes Georgia on the quick push with Connolly. Shaq Wade back into the game. Tough take to the basket by Johnson. And a second chance here for Georgia.
Well, and that's at least the third time that I have seen no one put a body on Kaliyah Robinson. Her ability to jump and her length is going to be a bad omen for Alabama if they don't start getting a body between her and the basket when the shot goes up.
Georgia turns it over again. Johnson to Wade. Knight backs in for two. Timeout called by Georgia. Ashley Knight with 7 points off the bench for Alabama on a run here in Athens.
Artificial intelligence helps us meet the needs of tomorrow, today.
By 2050, we need to produce 60% more food. So how do we feed the world without wrecking the planet? Using Microsoft AI, we make predictions about when to plant, when to irrigate, and when to harvest. Now we can reduce waste and produce more food.
Artificial intelligence helps us change the way we feed the world.
Georgia takes a timeout here, coming off a bye week playing at home. Alabama's bench has been outstanding so far. Deja Benjamin and Ashley Knight have combined for 16 points. Bama's bench has outscored Georgia's bench.
Eric, if you would have told me that coming in, I would have said no way, because I just thought with Jenna Stady that UGA would have had the advantage in point production. But I'm going to take it a step further. It's not just the bench points in my mind. It is the low post points between Copeland and Knight. They have 13 points, and that's when Alabama is at their best.
Stady on the bench with a couple of personal fouls. Count the basket out of the timeout. Caldwell gets it and the foul.
And I'll give credit to Kaliyah Robinson for keeping it alive to begin with, because yet again, Alabama did not put a body on her, and they're being relentless with their second chances. And then Maya Caldwell snatches it and puts it in.
Copeland picks up her first personal. Wade with the rebound. Closing in on 2 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Alabama has outscored Georgia 21-9 here in quarter two. Abrams gets free. Abrams follows her miss. They did not reset the shot clock after the miss. Last touch by Alabama. Here's Georgia basketball.
I would have loved for Abrams to kick that one out to Shaq Wade, who was spotted up at the three, but credit Alabama. They're putting her on the right wing each time to allow her to use that left hand and get in the paint.
Robinson 4 points on 2 of 5 shooting so far. Copeland the rebound. Alabama 10-10 on the season, 2-5 in the SEC. And Losing the handle, losing it out of bounds is Walker, and Georgia will bring it up with 1:11 to go before halftime. A reminder, ESPN Plus is home to thousands of live events, including over 2,500 college basketball games during this season. To sign up, download the ESPN app or visit ESPNplus.com. We came into this game wondering if Sierra Johnson was going to play at all. Game time decision. She has played a lot here for Alabama. Robinson skying for the rebound, and they're going to call that foul on Abrams from Alabama.
And I thought Abrams pulled Kalai Robinson to the floor on that one, and I'm going to be redundant here. Nobody is putting a body on Robinson when that shot goes up, and she's making Alabama pay right now.
Nothing redundant about that. You're just pointing out facts that continue to present themselves.
It's the coach in me. I think at some point, if I keep saying it, that maybe they'll listen and they'll do it.
Until you get a headache. Until you get a headache, right. Inside of 40 to go in the quarter. 7 to shoot. Connolly stripped by Johnson. Johnson hounded at from behind. Last touch by Alabama. Georgia ball.
And that's some of that decision-making by Sierra Johnson in transition. You don't want to be trying to make crossover moves in the middle of the court because players are always going to come from behind. Credit UGA for not giving up in transition defense and forcing that turnover.
Georgia holds for a final shot with the shot clock turned off. They are 1 for their last 8 from the field. Alabama's committed just 2 fouls. Shaq Wade on lob, can't get it. Copeland pulls it down, and that will do it for the first half. Alabama with a strong second quarter, outscoring Georgia 21-9, and Alabama has been very good when leading at the half. 9-0 this year. Can they make it 10-0 on the road? We'll find out. Up 9 at halftime.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Snickers. You're off your game when you're hungry. Eat a Snickers.
Time is precious. Even great moments are fleeting. And ornaments accumulated during a lifetime of success declare what you did. They don't explain how or why. When trophies gather dust and records are broken, who will speak for you? What will they say?
The thing about my mom, no matter how busy she was, she always made time for me.
Wow, integrity. That is her. That word sums up Pat.
She was always kind and courteous and polite to everyone.
Did you get everybody's signature?
Yep, all from the championship team.
That's great. Okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow, okay? All right.
See y'all tomorrow night.
Talent didn't mean a lot to her. It was just how hard you worked.
Did you hear? Well, then you got to get out there.
She was able to coach her players the way that she did because she loved them.
The coach with the most victories won with people. And when you talk with those she loved in the wake of her passing from Alzheimer's disease, there is no mention of her trophies or titles.
Oh, man. Can't really put words into how you feel.
The grief for me hits at really strange times. My grief, I try to channel it into what she would want me to do. Getting these kids ready for games, getting these kids ready for life.
I don't care. That's the way to attack. I love how you're attacking. I love it.
It motivates me to work hard, be the best I can be, and continue living life to its fullest.
Situations will come up and I'll say, I wish Pat was here. And then I have to look in the mirror and I have to say, part of her is still here because she's in me.
My mom told me that she wanted to give people courage when they were diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Tyler and I made a decision to fight, and to fight publicly.
We couldn't change my diagnosis, but we could try to do something positive with it.
For me, my motivation, I want to be a part of the cure.
I learned so much from her that now I feel obligated to pass that on to other people.
The things that she taught me now are being passed on to my daughter.
My legacy and what I'm going to leave even beyond my years is part of Pat's legacy.
Pat once said, "I won 1,098 games, 8 national championships, and coached in 4 decades. But what I see are not the numbers. I see their faces. Through them, everything Pat Summitt stood for will carry on, because people are the true measure of her life's work."
I'm a little bit country.
Oh, and I'm a little bit rock and roll.
I'm a little bit of Memphis and Nashville.
With a little bit of Motown in my soul. I don't know if it's good or bad.
But I know I love it so.
With a little bit of country, a little bit of rock and roll.
The all-new Chevy Silverado. It's a little bit country, and it's a little bit rock and roll.
2, 1, fade away. That was awful. Why are you so good at this?
Had a coach in high school. Really helped me up my game.
I had a coach. Math.
Ooh. So why don't traders have coaches?
Well, who says they don't? Coach McAdoo.
You know, at TD Ameritrade, we offer free access to coaches and a full education curriculum just to help you improve your skills.
Boom. Mad skills.
Education to take your trading to the next level. Only with TD Ameritrade.
We are back here in Athens. Quite the crowd on the court a few moments ago at halftime, putting on a show. That was a down moment for them. Yeah, then the energy picked up a little bit. Future stars here in Georgia. Georgia down 30-21 at halftime. Erica Christie back with you here courtside. A bit of a surprising score here at halftime, but what surprises you most?
Alabama's flipped the script on UGA. They only averaged 14.8 points per game off of their opponent's turnover, already at 16.
First half numbers, you can see the turnovers were a big issue. Alabama ball to start the third quarter. Wade tries to feed it to Copeland, knocked away by Georgia, and an early turnover for Alabama. Paul inside, batted away. No reset of the shot clock, and back out to Conley. Gabby Conley, averaging 13 points a game, did not score in the first half, was 0 for 4 from the field. Finds Johnson, and Shaq Wade with the rebound. Leading scorers for Alabama, Benjamin and Knight, both bench players for the Crimson Tide. First points of the second half come from Sierra Johnson, now a 6.
Very controlled, very open off that on-ball screen by Copeland. I love the shot selection. Again, wide open 15-footer. Sierra Johnson can knock him down all day. She just has to be patient and let the offense develop.
Johnson, try again. Paul can't get the putback.
2 possessions, 2 offensive rebounds, and unfortunately for UGA, have not been able to convert those into points.
Jenna Stady will make an early entrance here. She's checked it at the scores table. Stady was limited in the first half, picked up a couple of fouls in just 7 minutes of play, and a foul called on Georgia. That is the 3rd personal foul on Johnson, so Johnson will check out, Paul will check out.
And Eric, 2 of those fouls by Danette Johnson have just been trying to get over those screens, and she's gotten a little too aggressive.
Gabby Conley gets her first points of the afternoon.
Great anticipation by Conley to shoot the gap on that inbounds pass and just take it.
Abrams. Easy rebound for Robinson. Robinson on the run. Robinson got it back and was fouled.
UGA to this point is struggling offensively, but the one bright spot, the silver lining, has been their ability to get on the offensive glass and create second chance points. That is Kalia Robinson's 4th offensive rebound already in the game.
Copeland's 2nd personal foul, and Robinson, 74% free throw shooter. It's been a struggle from the free throw line for Georgia as a team, 13th in the conference at 65%, and they just weren't getting to the line the last couple of games. They were 7 of 9 versus Texas A&M, 4 of 5 in that lopsided loss to Missouri. And Joni Taylor said they needed to get more aggressive, get the ball inside, attack the basket, earn trips to the free throw line.
Well, that's been a point of emphasis all season long. When they evaluated their program after all of last season's success, it was like, hey, our opponents are getting to the free throw line a lot more than we are. We've got to be more aggressive, and we've got to stop fouling as well.
Inside, still fighting for it is Copeland, and Wade brings it back out for Alabama. Johnson blows by Robinson. Nice little adjustment for 2. 8 points for Sierra Johnson. Hubbard quickly back the other way, and then Connolly with a steal and his foul. Well, we've seen Connolly, different player maybe in this 3rd quarter. You pointed out before. Shot the gap, had the breakaway layup, and now stealing it in the backcourt and earning a trip to the free throw line.
You have to be locked in mentally and physically at this level. We see the freshman score in transition, then Connolly smartly just shoot the gap yet again, draw the foul, and get to the free throw line. And Eric, I gotta say, under Joni Taylor, UGA has hung their hat on defense. And what we're seeing to start this 3rd quarter has been defense. They're trying to turn Alabama over and create easy transition points.
Alabama shooting 44%. Again, Georgia has held opponents to 35%. I wonder if Joni Taylor had a little one-on-one conversation with Gabby Connolly. She is engaged, eyes are wide, up on her toes here a little bit here in the 3rd quarter.
Hey, without Taja Cole, Gabby Connolly's got to have a game today. It may not be all points, but she's got to run this team, and they look very disjointed in the first half, already appear to be more aggressive here in this 3rd quarter.
Connolly gets the rebound, a little too aggressive here, and it was a good defensive play by Shaq Wade. Last touch by Connolly. Bam ball.
Great job by Shaq Wade to size it up, and unfortunately for Connolly, it just rolls right off her chest.
Shaq Wade has not scored here today, but has 4 rebounds, a couple of assists, gets that block there. Alabama led by 11 in the first half. Lead down to 6. Connolly another rebound. Hugh Morrison, Stady for 3. Kalia Robinson with a putback, won't go down, and it's Walker's rebound.
UGA almost must feel like there's a lid on that rim. That's the 3rd offensive rebound they haven't been able to convert right at the rim for extra points.
Johnson tried to take it right at Connolly, but Connolly was not going to give up her ground. Last touch by Georgia, Alabama ball. Johnson, too easy to the basket.
There's got to be some help side that rotates. They're getting her ability to turn the corner off the on-ball screen. She's getting to the rim. Someone's got to rotate over and try to take a charge. Robinson got caught in between. Didn't know if she was going to go to Stady or go deep to Hubbard. Instead, it's a turnover. And a unforced error as Jasmine Walker took steps into that three-point shot. And it's a turnover for Alabama. I mean, Eric, you just hit it on the head. I think both these coaches right now are going to go back after this game and say, hey, the unforced turnovers killed us in this game. It wasn't the defense doing it to us. It was just mental lapses. It's not being prepared at the right moment to do the right thing.
Copeland comes out of the game. Bit of a war of attrition between these two teams. Each team has turned it over 15 times. 36-28 with less than 5.5 to go in the third quarter. Good catch by Morrison.
I remember watching their game at Alabama last year when just both teams struggled offensively. It was such a low-scoring affair, a lot of defense, but a lot of turnovers, and they just couldn't capitalize on high-percentage shots. We're seeing a lot of that again today.
49-43 was the final in that last meeting, February 18th. An overtime win for Georgia. See Alabama closing in on their season average.
Well, I talked to Christy Curry yesterday about her Arkansas game, and she said, hey, statistically, we matched up with Arkansas in everything. The big issue is we have 100 more turnovers than they do. You're not going to be able to win games when you're giving opponents extra possessions, as Alabama's doing right now.
Robinson out of the scramble, and a foul is called. And meanwhile, just between the top of the key and half court is Q Morrison, who took a tumble. Again, she's been battling injury and is limping towards the bench. We keep an eye on her as we head to break. 4:47 to go here in the third quarter. Georgia down at halftime by 9, trying to battle back here in Athens.
The unmistakable Cadillac XT4. Once again, driving is joyful. Starting under $36,000.
It's just a cough.
Yeah, right. And I was born yesterday.
I'm a baby.
What?
Treat your cough seriously with Robitussin DM Max. It soothes in seconds and delivers fast, powerful cough relief for hours. Robitussin, because it's never just a cough.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN, coming to you today from the Stegman Coliseum in Athens, Georgia. It's Alabama on top of Georgia by 8, third quarter. Georgia with the basketball, down by 9 at halftime. They have struggled taking care of the basketball. Back into the game is Caitlin Hose, who provided some good minutes in the first half. Here she is with it, number 10. Maya Caldwell also into the game. Hose got a hand on it to keep it alive for Georgia.
And what am I going to say, Eric? Another second chance opportunity for UGA, and it's because Alabama's just not boxing out.
13 offensive rebounds now for Georgia. Robinson got the tie up. Possession arrow, Georgia. Q Morrison has gone to the bench. We showed you heading into break that she was limping a little bit. Of course, we mentioned in the first half that she missed 8 games, first 8 games of the season after meniscus surgery. Missed a couple of more games as she tried to get back up to full strength, but it looked like it was something with her right foot or ankle. She had surgery on that left knee, so it seems to be unrelated, but she just has not felt right this season. Knocked out of bounds, Alabama ball, and a foul called on Georgia. There you see Q getting the start. Sitting to Q's left, screen right, Taja Cole, the starting point guard, leading the SEC in assists, sitting out today, violation of team rules. So it seems that has thrown Georgia's rhythm off offensively, certainly here today, being without their playmaker.
Well, I'm going to put it in terms you can relate to, Eric. It's like Tom Brady not being on the field for the New England Patriots. Your offense just isn't going to function as efficiently. Did you get that?
That was amazing. You prepared for the Super Bowl next week, which will be played down the road in Atlanta. Well done. Stady can't get it, and Johnson has the rebound. 3-on-1, back the other way for Alabama. Johnson to Walker. First points to the second half for Walker, 4 for the game.
And I think that's the best example I can give you of a true point guard on the floor. Sierra Johnson's timing to hit Walker in transition was on point for the easy layup.
That three-pointer won't go down. Another rebound and a contribution from a bench player, Benjamin and Knight. The big sparks in the first half for Alabama coming off the bench. Benjamin with 9 first-half points. Inside of 3 to go in the third quarter. Talia Robinson with the defensive play. Followed up and put in by Caldwell.
Great extra effort by Caldwell. So many players will assume their teammate's going to make the layup. She didn't. She pursued, grabbed the offensive rebound for the 2.
Shaq Wade says, bring it back out. She comes to the basketball, and now Alabama will settle things down. Wade knocked away, but into the hands of Johnson. And offensive foul called on Sierra Johnson.
She got caught pushing off, trying to create some space to get her shot off.
Hose heads to the bench. Robinson will check out as well for Georgia. Stephanie Paul back into the game. Q Morrison back in as well. Stady, quick little turn, but defended well by Bama.
But I like the fact the ball went inside. Stady needs to be able to finish that down low, but I just think the length of night affected her.
Good find inside tonight. The follow-up is put up and in by Jasmine Walker.
Big bucket for Alabama. I just felt momentum had shifted to UGA's side. Great job by Jasmine Walker to get the O board.
Stady ducks inside and will head to the free throw line.
Unfortunately, Ashley Knight can't finish at the bucket, but Jasmine Walker's there to clean it up.
Walker now with 6 points. Johnson leading the way with 10 for Alabama as Stady again picked up those 2 fouls in the first half. Hasn't picked up a field goal yet today. Has to settle for 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Jenna Stady back in her home state after transferring from Maryland, her first year with Georgia. Second in the conference in block shots, coming into the game with 40. And normally excellent from the field, 0 for 5 today, but 58% for the season. Paul with the rebound off the miss by Jasmine Walker. Connolly to Stady.
3 consecutive trips for UGA. They've got the ball down low to Stady, who just unfortunately hasn't been able to finish.
Count it and the foul. Strong take by Sierra Johnson and a chance for a 3-point play.
We've talked about the point guard play today, and we're seeing it here in the third quarter. Sierra Johnson makes the crossover, gets into the paint, draws that foul, and is now at the free throw line to finish the old-fashioned 3-point play.
If you're just joining us, Johnson, a game-time decision, suffered a concussion against Arkansas, was cleared right before the start of the game. She came off the bench as Hannah Barber got the start. Has to settle for just the 2, 12 points to lead all scorers here in Athens. Inside of a minute to go in the third quarter. Connolly. Stady offensive rebound. First field goal for Jenna Stady.
Eric, something to watch is Jasmine Walker just looks gassed right now. Last one back on defense, pretty much walked up the court for this offensive series.
There is Walker. Benjamin. Shaq Wade, 7 to shoot. Wade drives to the basket. First points for Shaq Wade. And a foul called on Ashley Knight. I say there'll be a couple of free throws here. Alabama over the limit, so Georgia at the line for 2.
And Eric, I love that Caldwell put the ball on the floor trying to get to the rim. So many times players just settle for that outside shot when the shot's going down at the end of quarters or halves. I like the fact that she was aggressive and drew the contact to get to the free throw line.
Johnson comes out. Knight checks out as well. Barber back in, along with Copeland for Alabama. Caldwell comes through at the free throw line with a couple. Time period for Alabama with a quick push. Over the head of Shaq Wade, though, so a turnover. The heave at the buzzer catches iron. And that is the end of quarter number 3 with Bama on top by 9.
You got to make things happen when you are struggling from the field. Shaq Wade puts it on the floor like a senior needs to and finishes.
When late night cravings strike, you can now get rewarded and keep the party going. Introducing a rewards program made to keep modern life moving.
So how's work, Greg?
Well, I keep telling people the price you see is the price you pay with AT&T. And I only mention having the bundle in the fine print. I can't stand the charade.
Well, you just gotta believe what you're saying is true. Here I'll be you. The price you see is the price you pay. Blah, blah, blah. AT&T is the best.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work.
People are gonna love you, Greg.
Isn't this job a little dangerous for a puppet?
Puppet? I'm no puppet. You're the puppet. Greg.
Not cool, AT&T. The price you see isn't the price you pay. Switch to Xfinity today.
We are back, SEC on ESPN in Athens, Georgia, getting ready for the fourth quarter. Alabama on top of Georgia, 44-35. Before he was a legendary ESPN announcer.
There you go.
He was a legendary coach here in Athens, and he's a legendary farmer, so everything must be okay on the farm if you're here to watch the game
That's
today.
right.
Everything's
That's right.
good?
Everything's good.
All right. And by the way, old habits are hard to break. This is how Andy Landers walked over here. He had the program all rolled up in his hand.
We need to come back here. We need a rally. We need to get going.
All right, well, give me your game thoughts, first of all. I know you're here as a fan and a supporter of the place where you coach for so long.
I try not to do that in this building.
I know you don't.
And I'm going to tell you why. I coached here 36 years, and nobody messed with me. I never got the feeling that people were looking over my shoulder, second-guessing me, and I don't want anybody to do that to Joni. She's doing a terrific job, and you know what she says. Her opinion's what matters, not mine.
All right, well, let me rephrase it. What do you think her opinion is right now?
Oh, she's not a happy camper right now.
Fight inside, and it's a rebound for Paul for Georgia. They were down 9 at halftime, 9 here to start the fourth quarter as Gabby Connolly pushes it up, and they look inside right away to Robinson, and Paul reaches over and gets called for the foul. Well, we've been talking, and we talked to you before the game. We back Pat week.
Yeah.
And you are uniquely qualified because you do love everything that Pat Summitt stood for and what you did for college basketball, but it was a love-hate relationship at times between two successful coaches in this conference.
No question. You know, first of all, let's start at the beginning. When I got the job at Georgia about 40 years ago, Tennessee was on top of basketball world. Tennessee and Texas, they were running things. And so I started thinking about what do I want to do when I get this job, and how do we want to play? And basically the way Tennessee played molded my philosophy. I'm not saying that we wanted to play like Tennessee. We didn't. We wanted to play in a manner and a way that we could beat Tennessee. So even then, she was influencing us.
Sure. And then, as it plays out, as Walker comes back to hit a three to put Alabama on top by 12, and now another turnover for Georgia as Alabama brings it across half court. Why not emulate the best? And then you guys had memorable matchups in postseason play, SEC tournament, NCAA tournament, Final Four.
It was crazy. I'm not sure that any two programs in America in the same conference have played nice move Maya Caldwell, have played for as many good things as has Georgia and Tennessee. We played for conference championships. We played against each other to determine conference tournament champions. We played in the early rounds of the NCAA tournament. Our first trip to the Final Four in '83, we beat Tennessee in the region. In '86, they beat Georgia in the region to go to the Final Four. And then in '96, these two rivals, Georgia and Tennessee, played against each other for the national championship. So it really is a storied history.
And a timeout being called here, and that will get us to a timeout. 10-point game, 7:20 to go here in the fourth.
The F-Pace, the SUV with the heart of a Jaguar.
Arby's 2 for $5 mix and match is here for a limited time. How limited? If I tell you, will you still come right now versus putting it off until oops, the deal is over?
Arby's, we have the meats.
For sandwiches.
Back in Athens, that photo of Andy Landers was taken in his final
Yesterday.
year as head coach. You know, final year, that TV ages you so quickly.
Thank you. That's exactly
but
right.
You look good. He's with us here courtside, just a few minutes from his home, just taking in Georgia and Alabama. We've been talking a little bit about his connection with Pat Summitt.
Well, Coach has spent a lot of time recruiting, not in season.
Yeah.
I want a Pat story from you guys off the court.
Well, there was a lot off the court. Let me just say this: it was so competitive on the court. We only really kind of liked each other for about a month a year. That was May. Now think about it. There's nothing going on in May. No camps, no recruiting, no playing. So we got along great in May. But as soon as something got started, whether it be recruiting or the season, whatever, then the competitive genes kicked in. We had a great respect for each other. I think we were great rivals. And I would say this: the thing that I always appreciated about Pat, being a competitor and a friend, and we really were friends, was if she had an issue, if she had a problem, your phone was going to ring. Now, if it could wait, she would rather walk up to you in person and ask you or tell you what she thought the problem was. But you always knew where you stood, and I took that from her, and I used it on her. You know, occasionally I would call her or walk up to her. Now, at the end of those discussions, neither one of us moved the needle on the other.
And I always thought you were so persuasive. I guess you couldn't even
couldn't get through to Pat, though. But, you know, just what a terrific person that moved women's basketball down the road when it needed to be moved. I mean, we go way back. I mean, when we started, we drove the vans. You know, I mean, we did the laundry. I can remember doing that. Pat did that. So to see where women's basketball is today, and even where it was during her final years of coaching, and knowing where it came from and the impact that she had on the development of women's basketball was really unbelievable. And I'm just thankful that we had Pat Summitt in those years that we had her.
Andy, is it safe to say she made you a better coach, and likewise?
Yeah, no question. You either competed, and when I say competed, that's everything. You know, that's for attendance. That's in recruiting. That's when the game gets started.
How about that finish by Shaq?
Yeah, that looked like a young Christie going down through there, laying that thing up, baby. That looked like one of your moves in the old days. Look here. Yeah, that's Christie.
Hey, if you're struggling in the half court, forget that. Let's get it in transition.
Now, my sources tell me Christie didn't bring it inside of 22 feet in her later years playing at Tulane. She just fell in love with the three-point shot like a lot of kids today. She was ahead of her time.
That's true, but she valued the wide-open layup. She just didn't like getting chased down on them.
Guys, let's be real. If you can pass ahead to someone for a layup, you don't have to run the floor. I was efficient with my steps.
There you go. There you go. Now the truth comes out.
Exactly.
Caldwell Can't get it. A rebound for Copeland. How about this job by Alabama playing on the road? They had played on Thursday. Georgia had a bye week, and Alabama's come in here with their backs against the wall a little bit. And they've played well, and they've stretched it out to a 13-point lead and holding.
You know, it's a Georgia team that is first of all young. They're the youngest team in the conference. Secondly, they've had a couple of key injuries. Q has missed all of the early part of the season with that knee. So they're a little banged up. Now, that said, that's not an excuse. You know, when you get late in your sophomore year, regardless of how young your team is, you got to stand up and compete. And I think that they've played reasonably hard today. I think that they have competed. But they do miss Taja Cole. Cole brings a lot of energy to this basketball team.
On both ends of the court.
Yes, yes.
I do feel like her not being on the floor defensively has really affected that tenacity of UGA.
You're 100% right. It starts with her defense. Georgia's ability to pressure, get in passing lanes, get deflections, start with the pressure that she applies to the basketball out front. You're 100% right. Now, all that said, let's go to Alabama. This is an Alabama team that played great against Tennessee. You know, they dared to come into Athens. Nice crowd here today. Take on Georgia, their home crowd. They have played well. Their ability to score inside. Georgia can't match up with the size and strength of Alabama inside. And I really think that hurt them early. And now the Alabama guards have gotten loose, and it doesn't look good.
Caldwell now with 11. That's a season high for the sophomore. And knocked out of bounds. That will get us to a timeout. We thank you for joining us here on your day off.
Hey, it's my pleasure.
You got to go back to the farm and do some work, though, right?
That's right. Got to go check a couple of heifers.
Never stops. Thank you, Andy.
The marriage was built to last.
You are so awesome.
But the house was built too small.
This is kind of awesome.
How long are we here?
For 1 year, Sparks will fly.
This is not awesome.
I just want to make an omelet.
Oh, are you kidding me?
The drama will be real, but it won't save you any money on car insurance.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Why haven't you called Geico?
Our Thursday night showcase this week features a top 5 women's matchup. Number 3 UConn in Louisville to take on number 4 Louisville Cardinals. 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. I don't know if UConn has an answer defensively for Asia Durr. Gino Auriemma in recent weeks has been kind of wistfully remembering the days of Gabby Williams and Kia Nurse being on the team. Not there now, their best 2 defenders, so that will be an interesting matchup. UConn has to get through UCF. That game at 4 o'clock on ESPN2, played in Hartford. A couple of undefeated teams in the American. Resetting our game, 7-point lead for Alabama. They have led by double digits for long stretches here in the second half, and they get a turnover right out of the timeout as Georgia tries to come back here at home against the Crimson Tide.
Alabama's 24th turnover of this ball game, and it's led to 17 points off of those for UGA.
Robinson can't get it to drop, but she's not done yet. She'll go to the free throw line.
I feel like this game for UGA, as much as they've struggled offensively, they're still in it because of the points they've created off of Alabama's turnovers and the second chance points.
Did you just see Joni Taylor hopping down that sideline trying to get the officials' attention that there was a foul earlier there? Now, you know, she is 8 months pregnant. She still moves pretty well.
Let's be frank. I think Joni would beat me in a race right now. She's still working out every day, running. I mean, a couple weeks ago, she still had an 8-minute mile. I'm not messing with Joni Taylor. She makes every woman beyond jealous right now.
Rolls in for Robinson. 7 points now for Kalia Robinson. Came in averaging nearly 14 a game. 8-0 run for Georgia to bring it down to a 5-point game. Things stuck at the moment for Alabama. They settle for a long three, and it's out of bounds. It'll be Georgia basketball.
Well, that is Copeland's second three-point attempt of the year, and she's 0 for 2 now on that. Definitely not what Christy Curry wanted from an offensive perspective. You hit it on the head. They're disjointed. I almost feel like they're playing not to lose at this point. They need to get back and get aggressive. Get that ball down low where they've had success today.
Connolly will go to the free throw line to try to bring it down to a three-point game.
Connolly has struggled from the field today, and so what do if you're an offensive player? You put the ball on the floor and try to get to the rim. And I say it time and time again, when you're a scorer, sometimes you just need to see it go through the net. So get to the free throw line, where Gabby Connolly is 10 for 10 right now in conference play.
Add one to it. As you mentioned, it has been a struggle for Connolly. 1 for 8 from the field, 0 for 4 from outside the three-point line. However, 4 assists, 5 steals here for Georgia. She tries to do a little bit of everything, and she comes up with a couple of free throws. Timeout called by Alabama. A 10-0 run from Georgia.
I like the timeout.
Alabama was up 13 with 6:16 to go in the fourth quarter.
And then they haven't executed offensively since then. So many turnovers, allowing UGA to get out and get easy points.
Are we on our way to yet another overtime game between these two teams? Last two meetings have gone to OT. Georgia has won those last two meetings and 26 of the last 28 in the series. As they break the huddles, we remind you that our big Monday matchup in men's college hoop will come to you from South Bend. Number 2 Duke, led by Zion Williamson at Notre Dame, 7 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN and the ESPN app. Out of the timeout called by Alabama, some pressure in the backcourt from Georgia.
And this is when Alabama started to struggle because they've taken so much time off the shot clock, and Sierra Johnson has not had it. Now, they got it across quicker that time they had in the better part of this fourth quarter.
Benjamin, nice little move to get free, and Benjamin, who was so strong in the first half, gets her first points of the second half, stopping the 10-0 run. Connolly, wild shot. Alabama gets the rebound, and Johnson wants to push it. Well, maybe the message from Christy Curry, to your point out of that timeout, was let's try not to lose this game. Let's go out and try to win this game, get a little bit more aggressive. We saw that with Benjamin and here with Johnson.
I have to give Benjamin, the freshman, she's been ice cold. And she's had ice cold water in her veins, so smooth. But what does UGA continue to do on the defensive end? And that is block shots. Great job by Kalia Robinson to come from the weak side and knock it out of bounds.
Second in the conference in block shots. Shot clock down to 4. Johnson has to make it happen against Stady, a very good shot blocker. And look at that three! Sierra Johnson drains it as the shot clock expires.
Ice cold. Ice cold water running through these Alabama perimeter players' veins these last two possessions. And you've got to do that on the road. You've got to step up and knock them down.
Stady with a three-point attempt. She's not shy outside the three-point line. 8 of 14 on the season coming in. But it's one and done, 2.5 to go. And Alabama trying to hold on to it, but they turn it back over, and it's Stady with the ball. Robinson for 2.
That is a 5-player leading the break-in transition, throwing it to her fellow post player for the 2.
Something tells me that's not in any playbook on that Georgia bench, but it worked out for the Bulldogs.
I'm glad to see Sierra Johnson pass the ball. The last time it felt like she was just going to keep the ball in her hands that entire shot clock. The ball for Alabama needs to reverse side to side and get later in the offensive options of the sets.
Trying to feed it inside, and it's a turnover for Alabama. That is their 26th turnover, yet somehow they're on top by 6 with 1:50 to go and a timeout being called by Georgia.
They're on top because they've been able to knock down shots. The 3 by Benjamin, the jumper by Benjamin, the 3 by Sierra Johnson. Wow, what a shot. But I'll go back to it right now in this half court for UGA. I want to see the ball go inside. It may not be a shot by Stady or by Robinson, but that forces Alabama's defense to sink in. And at that point, if they don't have it, then the kick out, because again, you've got one of the best shooters in the SEC from the 3 line in Gabby Connolly.
You can see as the coaches huddle up, we took you into the 2 team huddles, and you can see everybody gassed. They have played with some desperation here today. Both teams have lost back-to-back games since their wins over Tennessee. The bench is a little bit shorter today, and everyone is just doing what they can. Alabama and Georgia giving it their all here in this SEC matchup. 1:50 to go, 6-point game.
When Eric, we're at that point in SEC play period. These players have been starting the season. They've been going since the summer. There's some fatigue. And I think beyond the physical fatigue at time, it is the mental fatigue. I believe this game is huge for both these teams because you've hit it on the head. 2 straight losses by both teams since they've beaten Tennessee. What's next? Both these teams started this season thinking postseason NCAA play. It's not out of the realm of possibilities for UGA still. Alabama still potentially has an NWIT potential unless they were to win the SEC tournament. But big game, big minute 50 to go here today.
Georgia ball out of the timeout. Connolly to Robinson for 2. A double-double for Kalia Robinson. 11 points, 10 rebounds, 7 of those 10 boards on the offensive glass. 90 seconds to go, 4-point game. Johnson, Jasmine Walker. Offensive rebound for Shaq Wade and a reset here for Alabama.
Big play by the senior to give Alabama another 30 seconds to work with.
Alabama's now a +3 in rebounding margin here this afternoon. So we talked about all the turnovers, but as Christy mentioned, they're making shots. They're getting some second chances. Johnson. 6 to shoot. Walker will try from the other side. Final minute. Connolly somehow saved, and it ends up in the basket for Georgia. 2-point game. .13 now for Robinson. Shaq Wade to the basket, rolls off. Stady knocked it away, but it's Shaq Wade who tracks it down. Shot clock is turned off. Georgia has to foul, and the foul is finally called.
This game is by no way over because of hustle plays like Maya Caldwell, where she saves it back to Robinson for the 2. And I've talked about the offensive rebound by UGA almost this entire game, but credit Alabama these last couple of seconds that they've created extra possessions by attacking the glass.
You see Johnson's free throw numbers, 0 for 2 today. Make it 0 for 3. The foul was on Gabby Connolly, her 4th personal foul. Georgia with 2 timeouts remaining, so expect them to call a timeout here, make your miss, and advance it to half court. One of 2 for Johnson. There's the timeout. And Georgia will advance it to half court. 1 possession game. They are down by 3 with 12.5 to go.
And Eric, this is where you really miss Taja Cole, because that's your setup, your playmaker to get the ball to someone like Gabby Connolly. It's going to be interesting to see who's the trigger person now. Do you try to get the ball to Connolly, which again, based on the numbers, that's who I would try to get the shot to, or do you go to someone else?
Kalia Robinson may be raising her hand in the huddle. She has scored 8 of her 13 here in the 4th quarter. bringing Georgia back from a 13-point deficit.
Well, and the other thing that UGA has the opportunity to do here, because they do still have a timeout, is go for a quick 2. Foul Alabama, extend the game, advance the ball after that because they had the timeout, and try to prolong this and get the high percentage shot instead of the 3.
So what's your play here, Coach Thomas Gundy?
Right now, I think I would extend it.
So you think quick 2 here and then foul?
Yes.
They do have a 3-point shooter on the floor. Caitlin Hose has checked into the game. Georgia 2 for 10 from outside the 3-point line. Into the backcourt, looks like they're going to hold for a final shot, look for a 3. Caldwell, back to Connolly. Connolly's 3 is off the mark. Stady kept it alive. Grabbed by Alabama and a foul with 1.6 to go.
Great misdirection play by UGA out of the huddle. Connolly got the look. Unfortunately, just couldn't knock it down.
Sierra Johnson to the line to shoot 2. "17 points for Johnson. 3 assists, 8 rebounds. And she has put it away at the free throw line. Johnson will check out. What a gutty performance. You know, her head coach telling her that very sentiment you would assume right there. That will do it. And what a road win for Alabama. They hold off the Georgia comeback and win it by 5, 58-53 the final. Alabama snaps their 2-game losing streak. They pick up their first road win in conference play this year. We'll talk to the winners when we come back to Athens.
Due to the citywide outbreak, you are advised to take shelter at the police station.
Anybody here?
I don't like the sound of that.
We're getting out of here. Leon!
My mission is to take down Umbrella's entire operation. They're secretly making bioweapons.
Count me in.
Available now for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Rated M for mature.
When I noticed my sister moving differently, I didn't know what was happening. She said it was like someone else was controlling her mouth. Her doctor said she has tardive dyskinesia, which may be related to important medication she takes for her depression. Her ankles would also roll and her toes would stretch out. TD can affect different parts of the body. It may also affect people who take medications for bipolar disorder and schizophrenia.
We were so relieved to learn that today TD is manageable.
Learn more at talkabouttd.com.
Comes to Athens, picks up a 58-53 win over Georgia. Christy Curry joins us here courtside, and that was a gutsy win. That's the first word that comes to mind. What comes to your mind here after watching your team pick up a road win here today?
Just gritty. I think the same thing as gutsy. I mean, I thought our kids really battled. They've really practiced. We've really gone back to work every day. We've tried to block out all the negativity and just stay positive, not enable them. But, you know, we have a lot of growing that we can do, and our job is just to help them get better every day, and their job is to follow. So continuous improvement. There's a lot of basketball to be played in this league, and that's what we tried to tell them. You've got to let go, you've got to refocus, and you've got to stay the course.
Christy, 2 straight losses coming into today. Tell us what this win means for you in this program.
Well, it's confidence. You know, anytime you have a young team, there were times today I'd look up and there'd be Megan and Daisha and, you know, another freshman out there, and it's just right now a lot of patience, a lot of positive, and when they can have this happen in this environment, what a great crowd today for women's basketball in our league, and that gives them confidence, and that's what they need.
We weren't sure if Sierra Johnson was going to play today. I don't know how much you knew, but when I look at her final line, a team-high 18 points, 8 rebounds, 7 steals, she was a difference maker here today, especially with the late free throws to put it away.
She was. You know, she was in concussion protocol and really took a hard fall there at Arkansas, and she did a great job. Thank God she's okay and was able to play today. But, you know, Hanna-Barbera, I thought, tried to get us off to a really good start. Thought our bench, I thought Daisha Benjamin, you know, if she's not an all-SEC freshman team, something's wrong. I mean, to have 11 and 6. I thought Ashley Knight's minutes in the first half were really good.
Good team win. gritty, gutsy, pick the way you want to put it.
Just,
It's got you choked up.
I'm just happy for our kids. You know, they're fighting, they're working their tail off every day, and you know, to go through what we went through with Jordan and just the little things that have happened to us at different moments and the way they fought through. But a lot of basketball to be played in the second half, and we're excited about the opportunity it gives Alabama because we feel like we can still do a lot of postseason music here if we just keep at it.
Well, we appreciate you joining us here. Go celebrate with your team.
I will. Thank you, Roll Tide.
Christy Curry with the win here for Alabama in Athens. Back in a moment.
There's nothing quite as magical as staying at a Disney Resort hotel. So imagine complimentary rides to and from the park, even extra time with your family in the park. And now you can save up to 30% on rooms at select Walt Disney World Resort hotels. So if you're not staying here, just think what you might be missing.
Miles' intelligence is off the charts. He's been having a difficult time making friends.
Mommy, what's wrong with me?
He's so different now.
There's a battle being waged inside your son.
I don't feel safe with him in the house.
Miles, what did you do?
The Prodigy, rated R, in theaters February 8th.
Alabama had a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter. They do not give up that lead. They end up winning by 5, 58-53. The final, a lot of standouts. As Christy Curry mentioned, the bench came out in the first half and helped them out to a lead, and Sierra Johnson was very involved today.
It's what the Junior College Player of the Year knows how to do, and that's score. Her change of pace, her crossover moves, her ability to create off the bounce is what makes this young lady so dangerous.
18 points on 7 of 16 shooting, 8 rebounds, 7 steals, 3 assists, 11 points for Deja Benjamin off the bench. And for Georgia, Kalia Robinson had a double-double, 13 and 10, the 25th of her career. So a statement win for Alabama, third straight loss for Georgia. A struggle down the stretch for Georgia as they fall here to Alabama. 58-53 is the final. For Christy Thomas-Scuddy and our entire crew, I'm Eric Freed. Coming up next, Missouri Valley men's hoops, Southern Illinois taking on Loyola Chicago. So long from Athens.